Popcorn World. Popcorn World. Yeah. Can I make you move now? Yes, I can. So you can get this move in a bag of a can. You can make it round the world and it holds in your hand. Popcorn World. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. I said popcorn make you smile. Ah. Popcorn World. Popcorn World. Popcorn World. Popcorn World. The Popcorn World.
You're now listening to the Brothers of the Five. At shooting guard, it's your boy, Killer Cam. At small forward, it's Reggie Love. At point guard, C Major. At power forward, Al B. And at center, Mr. Noise, Lloyd Spence. And now, the Brothers of the Five.
Add one more plus me and
What's going on, good people? We are pulling up in the station right now, live and direct, ready to rock and roll. The banners are still in the rafters, or the jerseys are still in the rafters where they belong. Though we are not making an appearance in these playoffs this year, our presence is still felt.
Westbrook going up there next, huh?
Don't do that, Chad. Don't do that. Why would you do that? That's not necessary.
Let him have his moment.
Thank you.
Not necessary.
Appreciate it.
We still listen. We still lead the league.
Uh-oh.
But how many? How many is that we got? I can't remember.
About 17.
I'm just saying. So, you know.
Touche.
It's only right to just give other people a chance.
Can't win them all.
Yeah. It's only right. So, you know. But the playoffs are off to a good start. We got a lot to talk about as it relates to the playoffs. We're going to get all up in there here in just a minute. But we do have breaking news, and it is Laker related. Not even. I know they want to say it was 24 hours after the game was over, but Adrian Wojnarowski reported minutes after the game was over that Frank Vogel will be fired immediately. And because Adrian Wojnarowski's sources are the best in the business, and it seems like he never gets it wrong, ever. Frank Vogel got up, had his coffee, his morning croissant, pineapple, and they handed him a pink slip. So that's just how it was. So the question I have in this news, what do the Lakers need? What do they need? A lot of conversation coming out of the end of the year interviews. True to form, AD and LeBron said, man, it's hard to jail when you can't jail. You know, you're not on the court. We're unhealthy. We only played 21 games together. Not enough time to really figure out what we were doing. So they were very, I guess, gracious in their understanding of what went down. Didn't really point fingers per se. When asked about Russell Westbrook, they simply said, hey, man, you know, maybe the roles wasn't clear and people didn't understand. Whereas Russell said he felt like he got lied to. They didn't let me cook like I wanted to cook. Like I know it. They kind of played me like I didn't know what I was doing.
You can't cook without fire.
Ooh,
I mean,
And you can't have too many chefs in the kitchen either.
so it makes me wonder, what do the Lakers need? What kind of coach do they need that can pull? Because if the Lakers are stuck with Russell Westbrook, which I don't think that they are, but what do they need? Who do they need to turn this thing around?
Man, who do they need?
Jesse, who's our next coach?
you like Fizdale, right?
I did.
Oh, wait. I thought that's what you're going to say.
I just assumed that's what you were coming with tonight. That was the energy you were bringing. That is not correct?
That is not correct.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
Should I put
Here's my problem is I don't want to speak out of school. And my interpretation of what the Lakers need never aligns with what Lakers fans think the Lakers need. I have been like 0 for 241 on suggestions for the Lakers. You know, if you're fan polling Lakers fans. So I'll caveat, this just to say, I know you will say I'm wrong. That being said, I love the movement in the NBA to young coaches, especially young coaches that have played. I think there's a different dynamic of player and character in the NBA today. They're exposed to so much differently than they were even in college, right? Even the 80s and the 90s, where now they may come into the league as millionaires, having been millionaires for 2 or 3 years, right? Mm-hmm. It's a different game, and so I think the Steve Kerrs and the Steve Nashes, right? I think they're replacing the old guard. I still think Popovich's and those types of, and the Doc Rivers still have so much clout that they can, even Eric Spoelstra. I think he's more old guard now, but he's a great bridge example for me of kind of what the NBA is moving to. And if I were the Lakers, I would try to stop my coaching carousel before I tried to stop, because you can interplay all these players. Lakers are always going to go after the best players. They're going to be able to spend the most money, right? They're always going to be competing for title or bust. I think that having some stability in that coaching position, right, for me. And so if I were them, I would go like the Sean McVay route, right, before I go the Bill Belichick route, just in my opinion.
I don't think there's anything wrong with what you're saying. I think we got two different schools of philosophy going here, and the Lakers once again are faced with the inevitable task of trying to figure out which one they're going to go with. Are we trying to win right now, or are we trying to win at some point? And
we're always trying to win right now, though.
Well, but that has such mixed results right now. Like this, matter of fact, we may be even seeing the dying of the super team, because it's just so hard to get the right combination of people when right. Well, but I think Brooklyn is finding out as well, because you're so top heavy. You're so top heavy when you do that. They're trying to fill in the gaps to get people to do what you need them to do is not as easy a task. So
the worst situation, the worst league for that is the NFL, right?
Yes.
You've got a $200 million salary cap and 3 players making up 50% of that. It's really hard to fill out 52 other spots and be competitive, which is one of the reasons, like Tom Brady, right, it had the opportunity to do what he did is because of the money he took versus some of the other quarterbacks in the league. But I don't know if that's an issue in the NBA, man. You can always find veterans like Aldridge and Griffin that want to come off your bench, right? Players like Drummond who are going to be playing on, $1 to $3 million a year contracts.
But Jesse, we found veterans. That finding the veteran is not the problem. Finding the veteran that fits what you ultimately can do and can help you truly compete in a younger getting NBA, that's the problem. We had plenty of veterans. We had legends, damn near Hall of Famers. it was a bad mix. And,
Well, let me ask you a question. Why do you come off of let's call it a working formula? Why do you come off of Dennis Schroeder?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Why would you trade him? Why would you let him go? Is that what you're saying?
I know they offered him. I know they offered him and he didn't take it, right? I get that, Cam. So they wanted to keep him. But I'm wondering if there's too much rotation across the team, right? Like, should it just be that third star that's rotating in and out depending on what contracts you get? Or should it just be that, best sixth man? But
I think you got to stabilize the team. You got to have some foundational, just like you have your 2 or 3 stars, whatever that is. You also need some foundational, unmovable pieces that understand the philosophy of what you're trying to accomplish, and they're built for their roles, and they're irreplaceable. So it would probably, just like when we were in our heyday, Cam. Regardless of what was going to happen, it was moving parts in and out. Lamar Odom was not movable. He was going to be there. Derek Fisher was going to be there. That's not going to. So you keep some of those foundational parts to go with your Kobe, to go with your Pau Gasol, and that's the part that I think is missing in what they're doing. That, and then also the coach of the present and future, and that's the tricky part right now, because you got to figure out, you got to stop the carousel. This coaching carousel is ridiculous at this point because it's the Lakers. You shouldn't have a coaching carousel if you're the Lakers. So
no, it should be the number one job that every single coach in the world wants. And the second thing it opens up, you have nothing but the top 3 or 5 candidates coming out of the woodworks in the world. Like, that'd be like after Bill Cowher, retired, the Cowboys job comes up and Cowher has to have it, right?
Right.
Like it doesn't matter who it is, active or not, they're coming for that role. That's where they want to be, right? So
yeah. I feel like they need to first address they were oldest team in the league. So with all those injuries, you being the oldest team in the league, you have to get younger to be able to like I said, make sure you have quality role players. They hit on Monk, so you need a lot of players like that are young. Still hungry to play, actually, can add some value to your team. As far as the coach, I mean, you can go with a name, you can go with somebody less recognizable, but you just have to make the right call for that Lakers team because, like I said, the coaching carousel can't hold because that is the Lakers. I mean, you definitely got to be able to stabilize that position.
So coming out of this year, Cam, put AD, put LeBron aside. Who is untouchable to you?
Reeves,
I would agree.
Monk, you got to resign him.
I would agree.
Kendrick Nunn.
That's it. Done to even play. Now, when you talk about the veterans, if you can bring, depending on what you're gonna have. I'm bringing Melo back.
I was thinking that too. I was thinking Melo
100% did his job.
Yeah, Melo did exactly what he was brought in to do.
I'm bringing Dwight Howard back because of the price you pay for Dwight Howard. He does his job.
I don't hate bringing Dwight Howard back. We need some other pieces.
I agree, but ask the Mavs if Luka was playing, ask the Mavs they were like Dwight Howard right now.
Right.
You gotta have a big like that.
Gotcha.
I don't love it, but I don't have a better option, and so it don't make sense to throw away what we have to get something else. So
outside of that, everybody else can go.
Everybody else can go. I agree. So we're definitely on the same page there. So now, who coaches this team?
I've heard the speculations of people popping up and stuff, and I'm gonna tell you who I really like, man. And it really goes the fact that LeBron is not gonna be there in the next 6 years, 5 years. Like my thing is longevity. I think you got to find that coach who can coach. Who can coach basketball, the X's and O's. Frank Vogel has never been an XO coach. He's been a defensive-minded coach.
Right.
So, but here's the thing: the Lakers, you can get away with that when you got LeBron on your team. You really
Right.
don't need a coach. So you can get that guy that's pushing defense and get Jason Kidd who's pushing defense. You can get that. That's why it worked, I think, because you had a healthy LeBron that was a healthy AD. Now you just need somebody to really focus on defense. That's all Kobe was trying to tell Dwight Howard back in the day too. Hey,
Right.
man, I don't need you to get rebounds and block shots and we'll win a title. You know what I mean? So I get it. So my coach, it is not Mark Jackson. I don't need no preacher, no pastor, no coach. I ain't got nothing against them, but I don't need scriptures floating and prayers going on in the timeouts and all that stuff. I don't want that mess. I mean, not mess, but I don't want that. You know, I like Nick Nurse. I like Nurse, man.
You like the Nurse?
I think he's an XO. I think he's a get down to the
Basketball
timeout,
mind.
looking to play. I think that, and I think we can probably get Siakam here pretty soon with that too, because they have a really good relationship. So I like that. I really do. It's some other things I would like to see. I'm seeing the Brogdon and Buddy Hield for Westbrook because it makes sense for both teams because Indiana's rebuilding, totally rebuilding. Listen, if you can throw anything else in there, future draft, I don't care. Go get Miles Turner too. If you can do it, go get him. They're rebuilding the entire rosters, you know. So
Right.
you make it flip that entire team, those three people right there, you know. And then, you know, like I say, I just think that guy's a good coach, man. I mean, I know they had Kawhi Leonard. They had Lowry.
They don't have him now, and they're doing fine. They're doing okay. They're doing
They
okay.
had Kawhi Leonard and Lowry, and a lot of people who are basketball people can't even name you the starting five and the people coming off the bench.
Right.
And that guy just knows how to coach, and I think that's what the Lakers need. The Lakers need a person that can coach.
You know why in fact, I actually love what you just said and the suggestion you just made is because I think that hire solves both problems. I see that hire as an equivalent hire to what Miami did with Eric Spoelstra. Eric solved the immediate problem of being able to manage the personalities of LeBron, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, that whole thing. But he's also a damn good coach.
Right.
And you're seeing how great of a coach he is now. So I see Nick Nurse cut from that same cloth. If you give me a superstar, I know what to do with a superstar. But if you give me some players that will buy into my system, I can get you results that way as well. My only concern is he won that title in Toronto. Can he go to LA under a much brighter light and not falter? You know what I mean? Because that's what you don't want.
But one of the things that he did when he won in Toronto, he recognized what he had and knew that it wasn't good enough. And we're talking about DeRozan, who was an MVP candidate at the beginning of this year.
Did he recognize it or did Masai recognize it?
I think it was Nick Nurse.
You think it was Nick? Okay.
I think it was Nick that recognized it.
Okay. I don't hate that at all. In fact, if I'm, you know, this is just me responding on the spot. I think I like that better than everything else I've heard. Because I don't love Doc Rivers. We've done that. I don't love Quinn Snyder. What has he really done? I mean, he ain't got Utah out of the thing. So, I mean, what has he really done? So, I mean, he's consistent. If you want to go with that, he consistently gets them in the playoffs. So I guess that's something.
Which means nothing to the Lakers.
Right. This is a guy with championship pedigree that appears to be not just – he appears to be a really smart guy. So I don't hate that. I do not like Juwan Howard at all.
Me neither.
Not for the Lakers. I love Juwan Howard. I just don't like him for the Lakers.
Right.
Would y'all take a chance on like a former player like a Derek Fisher or something like that?
Man, Fisher got so many issues, dude. I would take a chance on the only player I would bring in right now would be Tyronn Lue. Like the guy can coach.
Yeah. I don't love Derek Fisher because Derek personal life tends to bleed into his.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. We need somebody. Now, Derek does understand Laker Nation, so he understands what he'd be getting. But I just don't know if Derek has the respect. Okay, let's keep it up. Let's keep it a buck. Derek, got his ass whipped by Matt Barnes. I don't know how many people have respect for it. I mean, just being real. I don't know how many people respect that. Like, that's not a good look. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a scarlet letter on his coaching men's basketball, which is why he's probably coaching women's basketball, because they're not tripping on that. But guys will trip on that. Would you respect the coach, your coach, if all around the league?
It'd be tough.
Yeah, man. So, and he did that to a teammate.
Yeah.
He took a teammate's girl. So that's not a good look. So I don't know. The Nick Nurse, you might have sold me on that one tonight. I'd be honest with you. You might have sold me on that one.
I'm okay with, if we can't get Nick Nurse, I'm okay with Fizdale. I'm personally okay with Fizdale coaching. I think Fizdale can coach. Once again, he's a coach. I like the Fizdale, the Monty Williams. I like those guys that can translate to the player and stuff like that. But I mean, in reality, we all on this panel know, Jesus, give the guy 2 more years and Teron Lewis our coach right now. Like,
Not my first choice, Fizdale, simply because I don't love that the relationship that he has with LeBron, because that puts us right back where we you know what I'm saying? Giving LeBron that control again, and I don't love that.
Hey, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Hypothetical. If you could take one coach that's currently coaching in the NBA today and just put him on your team, who would that be?
Is it the team that we have right now?
Well, I think so. First of all, there's a lot of questions with that, right? You want to offer Calipari the job because you got AD, but should you be trading AD? Can you trade AD with his injuries?
Okay.
Are you going to get rid of Westbrook? Whether you can or can't is irrelevant, right? Do you want to? Are they going to? And how much will that cost you to get rid of him, right? So do you bring in like a Scotty Brooks to like that's what I'm saying. Like, so regardless of the team, I think you need to think about the coach differently, not the team we have next year, right? Because if that's the case, then go with Fizdale, call it a day, let him be a 2-3 year stopgap, and figure out what your long-term.
And then we back at it again. Yeah.
Once LeBron's done, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you're thinking it's coaching as one of those foundational pillars that you're going to build your team around, yes, they have to fit with LeBron. Yes, they have to understand the LeBron AD dynamic, etc. But at the same time, they can still be a modern coach that perpetuates your future. So my point is, regardless of what your team is next year, assuming you're going to have LeBron and probably AD, who's your, if you could take any existing coach, who would it be?
The Nick Nurse thing gets me excited. I'll be honest with you. That's the only one that moves the needle for me.
Monty Williams.
Well, yeah, you're not getting Monty Williams.
What I'm saying,
Yeah.
It's right. Hypothetical. This is a hypothetical.
So think about Phoenix. Phoenix is in a great spot. Chris Paul is getting older, but the rest of them are really young, right? Mm-hmm. So Monty Williams could stay there. But think about, in that same vein, think about a coach that, like, you think about someone like Eric Spoelstra, especially with his connection with Pat Riley, right? He went to Pat and said, hey, I think they're going to offer me the job. And Pat's like, I get it, man. I've been there. I've done that. I understand it. That's the mecca. Like, go, right? You think about everything he's done to get trained up till now. You think about the compatibility with LeBron, his ability to work with young players like Bam and Tyler, put a whole team together with Butler and Lowry. Like, it's just if you could get him, would you want him? Because I think he's a great bridge for the next 10 to 12 years, right?
Well, I mentioned that earlier, that Nick Nurse to me is the new Eric Spoelstra. So I can see, I don't hate that either. My preference, I think Cam has sold me tonight on Nick Nurse. but I wouldn't be mad if Eric Spoelstra, listen, again, coach, championship pedigree, understands how to manage big personalities. And I'll even say this. Now, this is a little controversial.
He coached LeBron.
If you got an Eric Spoelstra, maybe I'm not as quick to move with Russell Westbrook at that point. Because maybe an Eric Spoelstra understands and can communicate. Because, see, it's one thing to have, well, just listen to what I'm saying. Because to Jesse's point, Eric has the skins on the wall. So Russell can't look past him and say, well, what do you know? Man, I know how to win a title. I actually know how to win too. So he can't bully Eric Spoelstra into, listen, if Eric Spoelstra can put up with Jimmy Butler, he can put up with Russell Westbrook.
It's not about putting up.
I don't disagree with what you're saying. I'm saying if you can't move Russell Westbrook, if you can.
Which we know we can't.
We can, but I'm saying if we can. That's a really solid fit.
The first thing is that first of all, this is like fixing a body when it's broken, right? Like, let's go to the piece that you have to build everything else off of. If injuries weren't a problem for the Lakers, they wouldn't have been less than the 4 seed.
Right.
Like it doesn't matter how bad Westbrook was. That was just accentuated, or how bad of a fit Westbrook was. So I think field goal percentage, he's still right where he's been his whole career. But, he wasn't able to make anybody better. I wonder if with injuries, right, aside, the Lakers would have been a completely different team. Vogel might still have his job, right? Lakers are in the playoffs, and who knows what LeBron's going to do. Whether you move Westbrook or not, I think someone like Spoelstra, if you offered him the job, it's like offering somebody that's, it's like offering Bill Self the Duke job, right? Or, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter where you've been or what you've done. When somebody offers you that.
Yeah, if somebody says you can be president of the United States, well, I've been CEO of Apple and Microsoft, but it's the president of the United States. Like,
it's one of the most attractive jobs in the world, so you're not going to turn it down.
But it's a big mess right now because Jenny is still dangling over selling the team if she's selling it to the right people. So that's like, I mean, that's going to be a different ball game, a different animal in itself if she sells the team.
Well, either one of those choices, I'm very comfortable with. To be honest with you, those would be my top 2 choices if they both would listen. But Miami is the number 1 seed in the East right now, so I don't know how amenable he would be. While the Lakers is to me a more attractive job, he's king of Miami.
Hey, you remember the Spoelstra Butler on-court fight?
I do, and maybe that's enough for him to say, "I'm good."
Well, that's the first round knockout to Atlanta.
But now check this out. If you're Eric Spoelstra, you've got the skins on the wall, and Pat is like your pseudo father. So who do you think will last longer under Pat's regime, Eric Spoelstra or Jimmy Butler? I would have to say Eric Spoelstra.
Right, but the point is that if you're Eric Spoelstra, you're sitting there saying, I can be one of the best coaches of all time, or I can be one of the best Lakers coaches of all time.
Yeah, he owes the cards. He owes the cards as far as if he stays or if he goes.
I'm okay with either one of those. I really am. I love both those suggestions, and you guys really made me feel better tonight. So thank you for that. Thank you for that. Right now, the 7 seeds are the Nets and the new NBA champion Minnesota Timberwolves. How dangerous are they?
I think Minnesota can get you on any one night, right? Mm-hmm. I don't think they're mature or deep enough to get you in a series if you're a quality team. And like quality team is like Utah down, right? Like Utah, Denver, Dallas, Memphis, Phoenix, Golden State. Like, it doesn't matter. Those are quality teams, proven teams. They're not going to get beat by a Kentucky, even if, because Town goes off, but he doesn't go off as consistently as like an Embiid does, right? So, let him get a game or two here or there or whatever. But they are a great team. Don't get me wrong. But if you're talking about a dangerous team in the West, it's not Minnesota. It's Dallas, right? But the dangerous team in the East are the Nets.
We're just talking about the 7 seeds right now. Yeah. I think
the Nets are the 7 seed.
Yeah, the 7 seed, right.
Yeah. Okay, so I can talk about the Nets.
I thought you said Dallas. So I was like, how did Dallas?
No, I just said they're not the most dangerous.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Unfavorite team in the West. That's Dallas, right? Like I'm not really scared of Minnesota in a series. the Nets are the most dangerous team in the East, and they're the 7th seed. And if they get Ben Simmons back with, his passing, court vision, defense, if he's coming off the bench, right, behind Brown, like I don't understand how a Clarkson and a Simmons and a Griffin and an Aldridge, if you have to go that deep, and a Patty Mills off the bench and a Goran Dragic, like it's the Nets are ridiculous. And if Kyrie is going to play better than KD, the whole NBA needs to be fucking scared. The Nets terrify me. I think they're going to beat the Celtics in the first round. I don't think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be 5 or 6 games. Robert Williams hurts there. I don't think full strength the Celtics beat the Nets in a series. The Nets are, to me, the most dangerous team in the NBA without Simmons.
I agree.
Yeah, they are very dangerous. So yes, that what Jesse said is all true. I mean, even when they're 5-6 rotation, they still can blow people out. So I mean, they definitely got some.
I've just seen games where I've seen Patty come in and just do it, and I've seen Curry just come in and do it, and then you got Brown, who's the young guy on the team, that just come in and do it. You got Dragic that can just stabilize the entire offense. And I'm not even mentioning KD. And I mean, KD is the best player in basketball. 1-2. He 1-2, him and Giannis. But then Kyrie is the best ball handler, one of the best scorers. That's just a lot to me. And like I said, I don't want to beat a dead horse.
At some point last night, he was like, I know I looked at it. He was at least 11 for 11.
You're 12 for 12 before he
12 for 12 before he missed his shot. If Kyrie's going to play like that, because he's got unbelievably fresh legs, not coming off of an injury, right, and has worked out all year long, but hasn't had those game minutes on his legs. If he's going to play like it's, game 30, game 40, and just, I mean, that's scary as hell.
And he did it on the empty stomach.
Let's not be so naive either. Don't act like Ben Simmons hadn't been in the gym all this time. I don't care at this point. I don't care about what Ben Simmons contributes. You got a Ben Simmons that can go out there and get Giannis.
Defense,
Paul George, whatever.
And he's big.
Yeah, as far as the Minnesota, I mean, they'll win a couple games, but I think they did too much celebrating last night, and Memphis is just too much for them. So I think think
Minnesota is very dangerous because when Cat cut it on, he's one of the best big men in the game, and he might, between him and Embiid, he may be the best big man shooter in the game.
He might be the best big man shooter of all time. And I'm not counting Dirk as a big man.
Oh, okay. I was about to say.
Not counting Dirk as a big man. He's a 4.
Don't do that.
But sorry, Cam, slow down.
We was all there.
I was about to chuck my laptop.
Just not counting Dirk as a big man. I think Cat could be the best big man shooter of all time. But 4 out of 7 games against a team like Memphis, who has shown they are much more consistent in bringing their entire game every single night. Like that, I think there's too much. There's too much for him.
I want to be very clear about what I'm about to say, and I appreciate you, gentlemen, and I honor your basketball astuteness. You guys are smart, intelligent men, and I appreciate you very much. Austin is going to beat the Nets. I need you to wrap your mind around this concept.
Can you put up my Cash App back up on the corner?
Put up my Cash App or your Cash App?
I hope you're right. I can't. I don't know if Cam and I are going to be able to make it to one of the first 2 games, right? Because I don't know if it comes back to Boston for Game 5, and Game 5's on a Wednesday, which is really tough to get to.
We're definitely going to Brooklyn.
I'm just saying. I hope they make it to a round 2.
Well, let me explain why I'm saying that. And to me, it's this simple. Because It's easy to see the performance last night and say, oh, my God, how can you stop all the pieces? Well, how could Cleveland, this young team who ain't never seen nothing like this before in their life, go stop two guys who have been to the NBA Finals? They don't. And everybody knew going into that game last night that the Nets were going to beat Cleveland. Cleveland knew that the Nets was going to beat Cleveland. They played like that in the first hard part of that game.
Because they've done it 3 times in the last 10 days.
Do what?
That's because they beat Cleveland 3 times in the last.
That's what I'm saying. They knew they were going to lose that game. And then couple that with the fact that and let me just say this, had Rondo not come in and stabilize a bunch of things last night, that game would have been, they lost that game by 25, 30 points. So I can't be impressed by that. It's just, I'm not impressed by that. And even with all of that being said, down the stretch, Cleveland had some shots. If they could have had any semblance of making some shots or putting the fear away and just playing their type of game, they may have had a chance to win that game. Now, Cleveland ain't Boston. Boston has played the best defense of anybody in the second half of this series, second half of this season since the All-Star game. And they are gelling on every level. Yes, the Robert Williams thing is a problem, but I don't know if it's as big a problem as people are making it out to be. Because here's the reality. It's easy to win one game. It is damn difficult to win 4 against the same team. I don't think it's going to be this. And KD said it best. This is not going to be the walk in the park that Bruce Brown thinks it's going to be. It's not. I'm sorry.
No, stop, Lloyd. That might be the most professional thing Kevin Durant has ever said.
I agree.
In his NBA career.
I agree. But here's what I'm trying to help you understand. I agree, but here's what I'm trying to help you understand. Boston is that good. People, it's not a coincidence. They are that good. And I'm a Laker fan. You know how hard it is for me to say in Boston is good? They are that good. Jaylen Brown, Jason, they are that good. Marcus Smart is playing some of the smartest defensive basketball I've seen him play in his entire career. They are that good. And they're going to make this incredibly difficult for the Brooklyn Nets to win. I'm sorry, but I don't see a path for the Nets to win this series.
Couple of things on that. I hear you with your Cleveland thing, saying that doesn't impress you and all that stuff. And I get it. But me and Jesse have been talking about this for 3 weeks now on this show. We've been saying we got Brooklyn. So I'm not basing it off of last night's.
No, I know that. You've been saying it for 3 weeks and you've been wrong for 3 weeks.
Do you think Brown and Tatum is better than Kyrie and Durant?
No. I think Brown and Tatum can match what they're doing for the most. Hold on. For the most part. Now, I'm not saying they're going to match them point for point because KD, we know, can go off at any time. But I don't think it's going to be as easy to get those points as we think it is. I'm telling you.
Who has ever slowed down KD?
It's not, but here's the reality.
That's just the question I'm asking. I'm not saying what you said.
I got you. And the answer is Giannis. Other than that, other than what's called it.
Giannis
hold on. And I don't know if you want to call that slowing down, but as much as they kind of halted, they stood in his way enough to get it. And listen, he stood in his way enough to get him to put his foot just slightly over the line. That's all you're trying to do. A win is a win. So I'm saying, and with that being said, the defense that Boston is playing is better than that.
Okay.
So I think Boston's got it. Now, back to the original question, I think Memphis is as great as Memphis has been this regular season. I think Minnesota is the absolute worst matchup they could have drawn. The absolute worst matchup they could have drawn. Minnesota's playing with house money. They got nothing to lose, and they have as much talent as Memphis has. So if talent is where we're landing on this, Memphis might have a hard time. That series might go 7.
I don't think it's gonna go 7.
It won't go more than 5.
I think Minnesota.
You think Memphis is gonna take them out in 5?
I think Minnesota's gonna take them out in 6.
Oh. Wow. Well, we're gonna get to that here in just a second, but Let's get to number 2.
Hey, hold on. Real quick. Can I ask a quick question?
It depends. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You didn't raise your hand.
No, please don't raise your hand. Just ask the question. Yeah.
Hey, really quick.
Yeah.
Name your top 5 defensive player of the year candidates. Real quick.
Defensive player of the year?
Embiid?
Defensive player of the year. Name your top 5.
I hadn't
Smart.
given this any thought. I would put Smart in there.
Marcus Smart.
I would put
Embiid,
Marcus Smart in there.
Draymond.
Jaren Jackson.
Bam.
Yeah, that's probably it right there.
Who's Jackson play for?
Memphis.
He plays with Memphis. That's one guy.
No.
Listen, Memphis plays phenomenal defense.
That's their third guy, and the only weapon Minnesota really has on any potential to beat Memphis on a nightly basis with that scoring is Cat. Jackson's the difference maker.
I disagree with that altogether.
Not D-Lo?
Anthony Edwards.
I disagree with that completely.
Nope.
Yeah, no.
Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards proved that he is not afraid of this moment, and so did D'Angelo Russell. So no, I don't agree with that at
You
all.
got the pest, Pat Beverly, the pest.
You maybe stop question 2 for that. Let's move on. Who can't afford to have an injury or a missing player?
Nobody.
Boston.
If Tatum or Brown go down, they don't have a chance. We found that out last year.
With Robert Williams down, they don't have a chance to get out of the first round.
Well,
So that's what I think. I think Robert Williams is 1B to Smart. I don't think he's the second best defensive player on our team. I think he's 1B, and that's just because Smart's that good.
Mm-hmm.
I think you underestimate what he brings to the court. I think you underestimate the differential between him and Tice.
I don't underestimate it at all.
No, the ability for Williams
I'm
to
gonna get
play
away
the
from
floor.
Boston. I'm gonna get away from Boston. I think Brown can go down. I think Tatum could go down, and they would be in a better situation than if Embiid went down, or if Giannis went down.
More complete team. More complete team. Yeah.
I think Boston would be in a better
Yeah,
position.
I agree with that.
If Giannis went down. Yeah, absolutely. If Giannis pulled his hamstring, Milwaukee don't have a chance.
Well,
We actually may have already seen the team that can't afford to have the injury, and that's Dallas.
yeah, I was about to
Because
say
I don't know what their path to beating Utah is now.
It's not.
We
It's
can see how
not
good Spencer Dinwiddie is now.
He ain't beat Utah good.
yeah,
but
that,
here's the problem. The last 4 years, Utah have beaten themselves.
So my question is, since they already had the playoffs
I'm
wrapped
telling
up,
you,
my question is, since they already had the playoffs wrapped up, why was Doncic even playing at that point?
But see, you can't knock that. That I can't knock because Ken can be trying to still do some special things with him, run different sets, different people, trying to see what he got in the bench when Luka is playing. You know, the other guy, what's the guy named Kleber? Kleber has struggled so bad this year. Whenever he come in, the plus minus is so negative. He may be trying. I mean, it's so much kids trying to do. I feel like
my answer to your question is because last year Utah gave them all they could stand, and I think that series was a rough series for them. And no, it was Utah, wasn't it?
I thought it was a Clipper.
One of them years, either last year or in the bubble, they played Utah. And they did
Yeah, we went to the Dallas Clippers game last year, game 5.
Yeah, Clippers knocked them off both years, back-to-back years.
Okay, I don't think that's a good matchup for them, and I think they know that, and that's why they didn't want to have that matchup. They were trying to see if they could sneak into that 3. But it didn't work out, and it has cost them more than what they, and it's easy to say the obvious people, Giannis and Joel Embiid, this, that, and the other.
Chris Paul.
Yeah, well, but Phoenix has proven they can win without Chris Paul.
Yeah,
they won games last year in the playoffs without Chris Paul.
Yeah. Well,
So I think they'll be fine, but I just think Dallas it may be an early exit.
Yeah.
If they don't, I don't know, because I don't think he's going to play.
Hey, I'll tell you what, though, the top 8 teams in the NBA, my goodness, right?
Yeah.
Like you could say, okay, Memphis, great record, right? Regular season. Phoenix, great team with or without Chris Paul, but with Chris Paul, oh my God, coach of the year. They're young players. You talk about what Denver has, with Murray and Porter on the court. Utah's got a great squad. Dallas is unreal. You go to the East, the Sixers, the Nets, the Celtics, the Heat. I mean, it's just unbelievable, right? I don't know if any one of those teams loses a player, if the other teams aren't so much better at that point that, it kind of makes the question mute.
Yeah. Those are some really good teams.
But would it surprise you if Golden State won the championship?
Not at all.
Well, there's a report that Steph Curry was a full participant in practice.
Right, but Green.
Yeah, but Klay Thompson is going to break his collarbone. So it's
stop.
That's what I'm saying, though. They played like 11 minutes together. So, if they're all playing in the playoffs, right? Would it surprise you?
No.
You'd be like, no, that's who they are. We knew who they were.
It's really. I know we're crowning Milwaukee and Phoenix. A lot of us are saying, well, they're on their way back, but I think it's a lot more wide open than people think that it is.
See, and I think the opposite of that. I don't think this thing is wide open at all.
Okay.
You think it's Phoenix?
Hey, listen, come on here and blast me the next 3 weeks if you want to. That's fine. Brooklyn. I just can't see you beating Brooklyn on a night basis, man. Okay. I know they're playing the best basketball and whatever you want to call it. At the end of the day, they got KD and Kyrie. Okay, beat them then. Okay.
And when Boston does, I'll let your boy. I don't. Well, you know what? We're there. Let's just go there right now. First round playoff predictions. Let's run through it. It feels like it's going to be Miami.
Atlanta's up 8.
I would say, are we going with Atlanta?
Atlanta's up 8.
Yeah.
At halftime.
And I think either one of those teams can beat Cleveland. With all due respect to Cleveland. Phenomenal year. They are trending in the right direction. I don't think either one of them teams can beat Atlanta. If Atlanta pulls us out tonight, I think Atlanta is going to get the 8th spot.
Does Miami lose to Atlanta or Cleveland or Charlotte?
No. It doesn't matter who lands in the 8th spot. It just, yeah, I think Atlanta's got that
Miami.
kind of sewn up. Yeah. We assumed you put Miami for that one, Cam, so we can.
Who they playing?
Atlanta, probably.
Does it matter?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
Cleveland.
Y'all heard my prediction already. Wait, go back. I'm sorry. How many games? I didn't ask everybody how many games.
Who's Miami playing? Atlanta?
No. It could be
right now, Atlanta's up 8, and they'll play Cleveland. If it's Cleveland, it's a sweep. If it's Miami and Atlanta, I'll give Atlanta a game.
Well, we thought that same thing last time, and didn't Atlanta knock off Philly?
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
But Philly had a guy that would not shoot the ball.
It's a different team.
Miami has no such problem.
You need to stop that. You don't have to bring that up. That's being real ugly right now.
That's up for the next series.
Right.
If Ben Simmons can't shoot, Boston's gonna win.
Ben Simmons come out and score 30.
As good as Miami is, I'm not willing to give them a sweep one game. I'll say 6 or 7, and you better not let Trae Young get on the road. We seen this happen. We seen this.
I say 4-2.
That Philly team is a team that me and you, Lloyd, both picked for the finals last year.
We did. But we all go Miami though, right? Like we not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah. I feel it prolonged. I feel it, but yeah, come on. All right, Boston Nets. Y'all already heard what I said. I'll give you my game. I think it's Boston in 6. I do. I think it's Boston in 6.
Where Brooklyn at? Nets.
Okay. How many games? You gotta say how many games.
4-2.
Okay.
4-2.
I'll drive, Cam.
Y'all gonna end up in the cul-de-sac.
Yeah, with the Nets winning series after series after series after series.
I'm calling everybody I know in Massachusetts and tell them to come ride on your house. That's not many people, so don't worry about it. Milwaukee, Chicago.
Hey, ask Jason Tatum to put a $20 million bet on the series.
He ain't
I
Calvin
will
Ridley.
ask him to do that. Bet on yourself, son.
No, it'd be Calvin Ridley that.
Well, we saw the last day. I was gonna say we saw the last time somebody did that.
Right. Milwaukee, Chicago. What we doing?
Goodness.
What you struggling with this? Milwaukee 4-0, 4-0.
Not 4-0. I give Chicago a game, man.
No, 4-0.
Why?
I just feel like that squeeze a game out.
Here's the stat. Here's the stat that you need to focus on with your 4-1 prediction. Chicago has not beat a top 4 seed in any conference all season long.
Okay, 4-0. 4-0. I'll go with the
No, you can go 4-1. Don't change your mind.
I go 4-1. I go 4-1 with Chad.
Okay, there you
Yeah,
go.
they
You're not by
squeeze
yourself.
Because DeRozan may go for 45 one
Yes.
game and hit
He
a
might.
game winner. Something.
He
Exactly.
might,
Let's
and then they'll
squeeze one.
lose 112 to 65.
Right. Absolutely. Because
Yeah,
Giannis may go for 75 the next night.
Exactly.
Let's
I just don't.
squeeze one out.
Yeah, great season by Chicago. Fantastic season.
You know what? I'm gonna go sweep. There's no Lonzo Ball either. I'm gonna go sweep.
There's no Lonzo Ball either. That's the other thing.
You lost your best defender too. I'm gonna go sweep.
Just don't see a pad.
I think Caruso's out too.
Is he out?
I think
That's
so.
the case, then yes, sweet.
Here's the one that
Chicago's lost 14 of their last 20.
Okay. Milwaukee in 3.
Milwaukee in 3, and they forfeit the last one. Here's the one that's interesting.
No, it's not.
Very.
It's a little interesting.
No, it's not.
There's no Thibault, man.
He's not that good.
He's their best defender.
Oh,
No, he is
what?
not.
He's their best on-ball defender.
Embiid is their best defender.
He's their best on-ball defender. That's what they'll tell you. That's what they tell us. I'm just telling you what Doc said.
So is it? Oh, okay. Well, Doc may not be there next year.
Wow.
Well, that's very true.
Goodness.
I think I gotta go Philly, but
You gotta go.
I'm gonna give up 2 though in the mix.
Oh wow!
I'm gonna give up 2
I'm not giving it nothing.
to the next Lakers coach.
We need him to get swept in. We really
I need him to get 2 so he can solidify his position at the job.
We need him.
No,
No,
you need
you
a
know
clean.
what? If they give up 2, you know what that means?
He stays.
No, that means Toronto has to win in Philly.
Which means he can play.
Right.
then.
Right.
No, it means Toronto has to win Game 5 in Philly
Which that,
for there to be a Game 6, right? Without Toronto blowing out the series,
True.
for there to be a
Toronto's the 5 seed, right?
So Toronto has to win a
Four,
Game
that'll be
5 in
four.
Philly. I'm telling you right now, Toronto's not winning a Game 5 in Philly.
So you're saying 5? They're out in 5,
Yes, or less.
or well, okay. I still say 6.
That's too close. I don't think Toronto's that close to Philly.
Huh?
I don't think Toronto's that close to Philly for us to say 6.
They beat them 3-1. They
Huh?
beat them 3 times this season. They own the series.
With James Harden?
I don't know if that means anything, but
With James Harden?
I don't know how many was with James Harden. That's a good question.
4-1 is what I'm going with.
I'm curious to know. Now you got me wondering about how many.
Toronto's not winning a Game 5 in Philly. I'm sorry. And if Embiid's done anything this year, by the way, it's proven he can show up in the big games.
Oh, for sure. He's
So-
the least of your worries.
No, I just think even if there's a game 5 in Philly and it's 3-1 at that point, that's the game Embiid puts up 48. You know what I mean?
Okay. Lost in Toronto. No James. Lost in Philly. No James. Lost in won in Toronto. No James. Just because I was curious and you brought it up. Was James playing when they lost in Philly that time? I don't know. Let's see. The box score will tell the tale. Yes, he was playing. He had 17 in that game. And they lost the last one with in Toronto with James. So 2 of the games were with James, and they lost them both.
I'm going sweep then.
Philly sweep or Toronto sweep?
Philly.
Oh man, come on. Now you just trolling me.
All right.
That's your real answer?
Playoffs is a different monster, bro.
Okay, all right. We got you down. We got Cam down for a sweep.
Yep.
No, put Cam
I'm there
down for 4. Put Cam down for 4-1. Because you can see Embiid tweaking an ankle or something stupid.
Why you keep giving everybody injuries, man?
I'm not. The people I'm giving injuries, the people that have had them.
No, but you got Siakam that can go off one night, right? Even though he's not been very consistent in the second half of the season, right? Toronto's got enough talent to win a game, but it's definitely going to be Philly, and I think 5 or less.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the same conversation we'll be talking about the Bucks next round, right? Is that if Middleton's got the potential to do whatever on a given night, right, and be relatively consistent at this level, but he needs to raise his average, right, and perform more often at a higher level for him to really be like an NBA number 2.
Okay. We're going west, young men. West. Phoenix and whoever falls into the 8th seed.
Stop it. What's next?
Phoenix. Phoenix. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I have to go through the list. Memphis. Memphis, and we now know it is Minnesota, where they like to call themselves the champs.
All right, fine. I got Memphis in 5. Don't hedge your bets. Law of averages, fucking Chad. You know you think it's Memphis in 5.
But I mean, you got Anthony Edwards can go off one game, and then Cat can go off one game. So I'm leaning 4-2.
And D'Lo and Malik Beasley.
I'm leaning 4-2, man. I'm leaning 4-2.
I'm going Minnesota.
I'm going Minnesota, and it goes the distance. 7 games.
I'm gonna go Minnesota in 6. I think Minnesota got more star power, got more people that can do it. I'm going Minnesota. I like Morant, but
Love Morant.
but I like D'Lo with Cat, with Beverly, with Beasley, with Edwards. I like that team.
Memphis in 6.
All right.
But I'm not comfortable with it. But
I'm saying Minnesota.
Defensively.
What?
I'm in my lazy boy.
You comfortable, huh?
All right. Golden State, Denver.
Golden State.
Denver in 6. I said it right here. Denver in 6. I told y'all at the beginning of the year. I told you at the beginning of the year. Lloyd, I don't care about Wiseman. He ain't proven nothing.
We ain't playing now.
You trade Wiseman. You trade this other African guy with all this athletic ability. I don't care if you have to throw Jordan Poole in there too, and you go get Karl Anthony Towns. That's what you had to do if you was Golden State, because you was having the matchup against Phoenix. Now you got to play the Jokic.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that at the end of the day, inside the interior is going to hurt them. Draymond Green has nothing for Jokic.
So that's a rough assignment. But I like Draymond against him though. To maybe slow him down just a little bit. He ain't got to worry about the speed of him.
This is my series of the whole playoffs right here. You always got that one series. You remember back in the day, it used to be San Antonio and Memphis.
Right.
This is a sneaky thing, and I'm not
You
saying
think it's
that you're a Golden State Warrior fan.
And you think it's 6? Denver in 6?
I think it's Denver in 6.
Golden State in 6.
This is a hard one. I will say that. This is a hard one. Because the thing that the team that they're playing, both teams are weak at the other team's strength. And that's the problem. Denver doesn't have the guards to keep up with Golden State, but Golden State doesn't have the bigs to keep up with Denver. So it comes down to style of play. This might go 7, guys. This might go 7.
So Jamal Murray is back?
No.
Not yet, but he could be.
He won't be.
Michael Porter back?
No.
No.
I don't think either one of them guys will be back.
Jamal Murray is cleared to play.
It's not good enough.
Yeah,
It is up to him to decide when he comes back now.
Hmm.
Yeah,
he's been shooting in pregame warmups.
So Campazzo been running the point guard.
Right.
yeah.
But Campazzo's suspended for the first game.
I'm gonna say Golden State in 6, but this could go easy 7. Only because of the championship pedigree. That's it. That's the only reason.
Morris. I like Will Barton.
Yeah, just because of the champ. You're not wrong. I'm just saying I'm gonna lean on the championship pedigree and say they figure it out.
I like JaMychal Green. I like him.
Okay.
I think it's
Who was the MVP last year?
Well, but that has nothing to do with the fact that
But you can ride the MVP. You can ride the MVP. You can get on the back and ride the MVP.
great, and that makes it more liable that Golden State's gonna win because they got an MVP too.
Okay.
2 times.
Long time ago. Okay.
Does it matter when you got your MVP or did you get it?
no. It kind of matters. Did
It
you know
kinda
Steve
matters.
Nash won 3 MVPs?
Huh?
Did you know Steve Nash won 3 MVPs?
2.
2.
He won 2. Yeah, he won 2.
But they were back to back.
Listen, we celebrate our guys' MVPs all the time. LeBron James. We talk about his MVPs all the
No,
time.
but that was in LeBron's prime.
Well, he should have won MVP this year. You ain't taking away the team. But I'll talk about that. That's another subject.
We're gonna get to that too.
Listen, my official answer is Golden State in 6, but I'll tell you this right now, that changes if Murray comes back and plays. I think he has the same, even a more or even a greater effect than Simmons coming back to the Nets. And so he's physically ready to play, has been for a while now. It's just, mentally having good days and bad. Really hope he comes around that, because if he can get on the court, that's a whole nother Denver team. It's a whole nother level. That being said, I think that would only change Golden State 6 to Golden State 7. And I say that because I think Denver's extremely dangerous. But I learned in the 2020 Masters that when Tiger's in the field, you got to put some money on Tiger, because you just dumb.
You don't know. You don't know. Yeah.
And when you're that good and have the ability to be that great, like I said, it wouldn't surprise me in the least if they won the title this year. Just wouldn't, right? Yeah. And so, and so to say all that, it's still got to be Golden State.
One more, and this is the one that saddens me, because I'll be honest with you, prior to the news that he's out indefinitely, I would have said Dallas in 7. Now I'm almost forced to say Utah, and maybe Dallas steals 1, but I just don't see a path for Dallas beating Utah without Luka.
True. I feel the
I
same
hate
way.
it. I hate it because I think we just got robbed of maybe the best series of all of these. But I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it's going to happen this time.
Yeah, it's Dallas. Yeah, I don't think they can recover like you said. So Utah 5.
Cam?
I want to be real careful with this one, with what I have to say, because I am very active on social media with Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, and I've had a lot of Maverick fans and friends that just tell me, "Oh, we whooped the Lakers' butt, and man, y'all suck and this and that." So the fact that Luka got one leg and ain't gonna play, I'm happy for Utah. I love it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
Go Mavs.
They better call Dirk back for 7 games.
Wow, that's
No, they better call Dirk and Warhol, Nahara, and the whole.
yeah. They need that whole championship squad. They're gonna pull us off.
Hey, let me ask you a question. If Luka comes back for game 1 or game 2, and he's 70 to 80% of normal Luka, which is still
Pretty high.
top level star, but not top 15, top 20. If he comes back, and then because he comes back a game or two too soon, he's at that same level for the entirety of the series, right? So that's scenario number 1. Scenario number 2 is
hold on. With scenario, hold on, Jesse. With scenario number 1, you got to talk about KD too coming back.
Risk further injury if you're not
Same
winning.
injury.
I think Dallas needs to either
Sit him.
come back 100% or he can't.
sit him for the first 2, even if you're down 2-0, but
If you're not
Luka comes
100%.
back at 95% in 10 more days. Is that a better opportunity for you to win the series than it is at Luka at 80 the whole time?
I think 100% or nothing. It's got to be
You know what the calf
100%.
will do to you? That calf will turn into an Achilles real quick.
I think he's 100% or nothing. And if he's not 100%, then it's over. And I think it's over.
Because that is your franchise.
Yeah, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Because even if you fight through this series, it doesn't get easier. I mean, your reward for winning this series is Phoenix. No, it's over. Just shut it down. You overplayed your hand at the end. It happens.
You did it, Jesse. You did it last year. Y'all could have brought Jaylen Brown back, but y'all didn't.
Yeah.
And you had him for the whole year this year, and look where they at.
Yeah.
There
I
it
think
is.
you should shut it down, man. It's over. It's over. It happens.
I think if Luka plays,
You're gonna keep saying that.
if Luka plays this series, right, like the majority of the games in the series, I think it's the Mavericks in 7.
Jesse, what you basically saying is that the Lakers got a chance to make the playoffs if AD would have came back 3 weeks earlier. Like you're gonna break his leg. Luka that calf is gonna turn into an Achilles, man. It's mathematically like that's what it turns into. Like there's no way. If we talk about a hamstring, try to bring him back like James Harden played last year in Game 7 against Milwaukee. But we talk about a calf, bruh.
Yeah, it ain't.
There's no lateral movement.
Matter of fact, that was one of the things that Shaq was talking about last night because he said he's had that injury. He said, I never healed.
Who?
Shaq said that.
He had the calf with Boston. And
Yeah, he
Boston,
said, I never healed.
Boston was going to win it.
He said, I never healed. I tried to come back and give Boston, and it ripped into an Achilles almost immediately. It's just not worth it. You're going just not to win one series, when you need them for a career. You're going to lose a year for one series? No.
It put a halt to Isaiah Thomas' career.
Yeah. Yes. Another great example. So
Dominique Wilkins.
yeah.
I got a question now. If Chris Paul doesn't win a championship this year, Would that do anything to his legacy as far as him just being another person without a ring, another great player without a
I
ring?
think he'll be in that John Stockton part.
Yeah.
There's 3 players right now there for me, right? Barkley, Malone, and Stockton.
Yeah,
So Chris Paul's on that list.
he'll be on that list.
Really.
Now, does he – I don't know where he goes. I don't know how I'd rank Stockton versus Malone, right? Like it's probably Malone, but damn. That's a really hard call to make. And then Barkley.
I would say for me at the top of that list, and this may be recency bias, like we're in the moment, but I would have to put Chris at the top of that list. And the only reason because everywhere Chris has gone, he's made that team better.
Chris was better than Stockton.
Ooh.
See, Stockton and Malone being teammates and working together for 20 years can't work against Stockton and Malone. Right?
I'm not viewing it that way though. I'm looking at strictly Chris's ability to go to literally every team he went to. And he solidified that to me in OKC. Like that team was not supposed to do anything. And that team was amazing. And the only reason they were amazing was Chris Paul. And I know that because since Chris Paul has been gone, they suck. So,
but you put a Westbrook on a team like that, and they're going to be almost just as amazing because what Westbrook can do with 8 scrubs is a whole lot more than Westbrook could do on the Lakers this year.
I agree with that. I actually agree with that.
I mean, it may only be 90% of what Chris Paul did, but it's still extremely possible by a million other players. So how much differential does his leadership give you in that conversation? I think by saying that, you're taking away from Stockton and Malone playing together that whole time.
Here's the thing, though, with Chris Paul, though. Chris Paul is in that era where you was with LeBron and you didn't win. Carmelo, you played in that era with LeBron and didn't win. That's why I think it was important that Giannis won one now. Durant won one. Dwayne Wade won one without LeBron. Like you're gonna be stuck in that era like Reggie Miller and Jordan.
Yeah, I would slightly disagree with the Westbrook comparison only for this reason. That team that he went to the playoffs with in OKC was better than the team that Chris Paul went to the playoffs with. Like they had already sold off all the better parts when Chris took that team to the playoffs. Because who was on that team with him? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and who else?
I think did they have Adams still on that team?
See, that's what I was trying to remember. I couldn't remember if they had Adams or not. But it wasn't a great team. It was it wasn't a great team. And I think Russell Westbrook took a better team because he did still have Adams and a few other parts that were
he had Oladipo.
So no, I don't think that's apples to apples. And it's again, I'm not taking away anything from Stockton and Malone. They're legends. I mean, that's part of the dream team. So let's not downgrade them in any way. But I just love the fact that Chris has made every team better, every single one. So that's just my opinion on that. But we got awards to give out, people. What we doing? 6th man of the year. Who got it?
That should be a no-brainer.
It is a no-brainer. And I absolutely hate the Miami Heat.
Whoa.
One pick.
Tyler Hero.
One pick before Romeo Langford when Hero was number 1 on our draft board. 2 out of the last 3 Eastern Conference Finals without this guy on our team. The one missing piece, even when Kyrie was part of it's so depressing how good Tyler.
You don't seem happy. I'm just going to tell you, you do not seem happy at all.
Hero is my hero.
I can be your hero, baby.
If I were
Tyler Hero is your hero.
If I were 8 inches taller and athletic, that would be the kind of player. Like it used to be JJ Redick, but then he did some shady shit. Now I'm like, Tyler Hero seems like a clean version of JJ Redick. I don't know why he's coming off the bench. Thank God, good job, Miami.
Yep.
You got that kind of player. Normally, those players off the bench that are those kind of impact players are your Eddie Houses, your Patrick Beverleys. Who's the other one? There's been another one the last couple of years. He played for Houston. Anyway, they're defensive guys, right? Yeah. They bring the value as being a six-man, as being a defense, team-oriented pass. Marcus Smart was a six-man for a lot of years.
Yeah.
Same type of intensity. What Hero brings is different, right? You could take Butler out of the game, put Hero in, and you're still getting the same type of offensive production. And in fact, he's even more efficient in the fact that he's doing it in less minutes. So it's hands down Tyler Hero, and I'm very, 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 very sad about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going with Jesse on this one. I had Tyler Hero too. But you could also give it to Jordan Clarkson too. So
I'm going, yeah. I'm definitely going with Jordan Clarkson.
I went a different way. And for this reason only. Somebody off that team deserves, other than the coach, to have an award. Because they are the best team in the league. Now, Chris Paul's not going to win MVP. Devin Booker's not going to win MVP. Nobody's going to win Defensive Player of the Year. But I can make a case for Cam Johnson winning Sixth Man of the Year. And doing it on the best team in the league. So
I think that's one of the great things about Phoenix, right? Like Devin Booker is like a sleeper top 5 MVP pick, but he's definitely not in the clear-cut top 3, and he's definitely not going to win it.
Right.
Ayton is like a sleeper top 5 pick for like defensive MVP.
Right.
Like, he's not in the top.
He's not going to win it. Right.
And he's definitely not going to win it. But if somebody made him their 5th pick, like it's tough to argue it. Right.
Exactly.
And then what Chris Paul means as far as, and I hate to say it, but like that value player, right? We don't vote for that.
We don't look at it that way.
Right. But that value player to a team, that glue, that, that's, the experience, the veteran, the leadership in the locker room, and his ability to, we're talking about him being better than John Stockton. Like, that team is special, right?
And that's why these conversations,
Johnson, and right, it's just, and then the coach of the year, right?
Yeah.
Like,
and that's why these conversations are hard, because they are a great team with great players.
The best team in the NBA. Team.
Right.
From coach to bench. They're the best team.
They're the best team. Right.
In the NBA.
It's just hard when you start picking the pieces out individually, go, great, but not.
Terry Payne is averaging 12 points off the bench. Jordan Clarkson is averaging 16 points off the bench.
Tyler Hero's averaging 21 points off the bench. Hey,
yeah.
You know what I think Phoenix says to themselves every day, and this is a testament. I hope to Monty Williams and to Chris Paul. Probably there's a shared credit there, in that Kershaw got pulled from the mound today, right? Mm-hmm. 7 perfect innings,
right?
Say it again.
So Clayton Kershaw, who took a short money $17 million contract to re-sign with the Dodgers this year on a 1-year deal, pitched 7 perfect innings today.
Perfect innings.
80 pitches. He struck out 13 of the 21 batters that he faced. And when Roberts came to get him from the mound, Kershaw didn't fight 1 second. When he was interviewed after the game, and the Dodgers won with a 1-hitter, by the way, when Kershaw was interviewed after the game, he said, "It's not about a game, right? We've got bigger goals than that."
Right.
And so my first reaction to that whole thing was, we're never going to see another no-hitter or perfect game in baseball, because we're managing players in April, right? Players like Kershaw. And
I don't agree.
8 pitches, 13 strikeouts. Like,
I don't agree with that.
To not let him go for it. That being said, it changed my perspective when I heard Kershaw speak to it, in that there's a million other things we want to do than this. It has nothing to do with individuality.
And why what you're saying means so much is because they just came off of losing the title last year.
Yes.
So individual goals don't mean diddly to them right now. They want the brass ring.
Yeah.
And they know that's why when y'all were saying, well, Tyler's got 21 and such, that true, all true things. But I don't know if that is the true measurement of the best 6-man in the league.
That's what I'm saying, Lloyd.
Yeah.
That's why think about this at almost a Brady analogy, right? You've got Clayton Kershaw, who's a $40 million a year pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
Don't anybody get this wrong, okay? And he's taking $17 million a year to stay with his team and 7 innings of a perfect game, only 80 pitches, 13 strikeouts, and he says, I don't care.
Right.
That's the Brady analogy that wins you championships. The mentality, the sacrifice, the whatever it takes. And so.
Now, you said you don't agree, Cam. Why not?
I don't agree because we're talking about Roberts. This is the stuff that he does. This is the stuff that the Dodgers coach does. Roberts. This anybody else, Kershaw will still be in there. If it was the Yankees, the Red Sox, whoever else, and they got just as much chance to win it as anybody do too.
Right.
He would still be in there. This is what Dave Roberts do though. Over the course of the last 5 years, he do something to make you scratch your head. Like seriously. And hey, he won a World Series out of it. I'm just saying, but this is what he does, though. Like
he's different. He's definitely different.
Unorthodox, man.
Most improved.
Jordan Poole.
I don't think I can argue.
I wish Jordan Poole played for somebody other than the Golden State Warriors because that's not a bad answer, but it sounds like fucking saying Elliott's the best running back in football, right? When it comes out of Chad's mouth.
Right, because it sounds straight like homerism.
It's tainted.
I should have went last.
No, it's like
but to that point, I'm going with Jordan Poole. I mean, I don't know if I've seen a guy take such a jump in such a short amount of time.
I wish you'd said that first.
I should have went first. You're right. I should have went first.
I should have went last.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go different. I'm going off the stem. I'm saying Devontae Murray for San Antonio.
Not a bad pick at all. Not a bad selection at all. Not at all. They're not playing tonight if he doesn't take the jump he took.
Yeah.
Well,
They're
Charlotte
not playing tonight at all. If he doesn't
Charlotte ain't playing either.
Yeah. Well, are they down that much? I hadn't picked in.
Oh
God!
It's a massacre. It's a massacre.
Oh, Charlotte! What? Don't mix up the time on the game. Like, what time did y'all think the game was starting? Jeez. Okay, I'm sorry. Who you going with, Jess?
So my heart says DeJounte Murray.
You can't say Jaylen Brown either.
No, he's in his.
I would say he's most improved. Yeah.
But I'd say Murray out of San Antonio is probably where my heart wants to go. But that's only because I think that who I think might win it is his first year he was just underutilized, and his second year he just ended up shining. But when you compare his second year to his first year, it's not really fair, right? The first year isn't normalized because there wasn't usage, there wasn't playing time, there wasn't situations, other players on the court, etc. Desmond Bain, I think, might win.
He's going to win it. He's going to win it.
And
where's he from?
Stop it. Who drafted?
He plays for Memphis.
Stop it. Who drafted him?
Plays for Memphis.
No, I'm just saying he's in the backyard at TCU. That's all I'm saying.
I know, but who drafted him out of TCU? I called Danny and I told him. I said, different profile.
Y'all traded him?
This is the next Kurt Thomas.
Oh my goodness. So who you going with, Jess?
Desmond Bain's going to win the award. I think DeJounte Murray should.
Okay. All right. What about Defensive Player of the Year?
Bam Adebayo.
Hey, I think that's a lot.
I don't think it's a lot.
Oh, okay. Who you going with?
There's only one name.
That's who I'm going with then.
Okay. Rudy Gobert.
No.
No. I'm
Don't say Embiid.
going Giannis.
No, he won't be in the top 3.
Okay.
I think they're going to give a makeup award to Bam because a lot of people thought Bam should have won it last year. I think this is the makeup award. We didn't give it to him for Ali. We'll give it to him for King Richard. We don't want nobody walking on the NBA stage slapping anybody. Coach. Oh, I'm sorry. I hit the wrong button. Coach of the year. Oh, I said Bam. Coach of the year.
Taylor Jenkins.
Easy coach of the year. Easy.
Ume Udoka. Oh, wait. Sorry. I meant Monty Williams.
Ume's going to get votes, as he should. Matter of fact, if he falls below 3, I'm going to be shocked.
No, because that Charlotte coach will get votes.
Not if the votes are due tonight.
Monty Williams is going to win it, right?
Monty's going to win it.
Monty or Taylor Jenkins.
I don't think so.
You don't think Monty's going to win it? He just won the coach's coach of the year.
Okay.
For the second year in a row.
Okay.
So who you going with?
You don't.
Nah, I listen. He'll be in the top 3
Because
for
of what
sure.
he did the second half of the year, I'm going with you.
Listen, no question about it.
Okay.
I think Monty's got it too.
For the same reason you were saying that Cameron Payne was going to win 6 Man of the Year.
No. For the record, I agree with Cam 1,000%. I think if you take the definition, see, this is how you define coaching, right? Like, is it managing personalities? Is it X's and O's? There are a lot of different approaches to that. Monty Williams did a completely different job with Phoenix, right, than Taylor Jenkins did in Memphis or Spoelstra did or what Ime did in Boston.
Not to cut you off, Monty Williams had another head coach on the court 90% of the time during the season.
70%.
Okay, 70%.
I think
that makes it a lot easier for Monty Williams.
I don't disagree, but I think Monty's again. It's a makeup award. He should have got it last year. He didn't.
But even then, I'd put Taylor Jenkins with Memphis's consistency and across the board game 1,
Absolutely.
game 82, what they were able to do, the growth in Desmond Bain, like there are things you have to attribute to a coach. I think Memphis would be the 1 seed in the East, right? And so, to take him above Ime, I couldn't do it. And Eric Spoelstra, I mean, everybody lost major players this year. He lost Lowry, and they stayed at the 1 seed.
Yeah.
So that's the difference for me.
Rookie of the year.
Evan Mobley.
I love him.
Evan Mobley for me.
I love him. He's so good.
Yeah.
Which they better hold on to him because in about 3 or 4 years he probably won't be there.
Evan probably deserves it. I think Scotty's going to win it. Scotty Barnes is going to win it.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree, Lloyd, 1,000%.
Yeah.
But I love Evan Mobley.
Evan probably deserves it.
Yeah.
He did nothing not to deserve it.
Yeah.
But Scotty's going to get it.
I'm gonna go with Mobley too.
Yeah. Let's all go with Mobley just to out of respect for what he did this year, full well knowing that Scotty Barnes is going to win the award. Gentlemen, who's your MVP?
Man, if he didn't get injured, I could have made a strong case for Luka, but I'm going for Joel Embiid.
This is a tough one.
This is a tough one because there's no runaway. All the numbers are
Yeah,
there.
it's so close.
So the process of elimination, you got to take Durant out, and you have to take LeBron out.
Gone. Yeah, gone. The problem with Nikola is that he didn't do anything this year that he didn't do last year. So why wouldn't he be MVP? And then the case that you make for Joel, the one thing that is the separator is that he got the scoring title. But did he get it or did he get it by default?
Just a clarification. Embiid did the same thing as he did last year without Ben Simmons.
And the reason why I went with Embiid is because of what you just said. They both did it without their guys. Or, well, I don't know if you call Ben Simmons his guy, but they both did it without an all-star. But in some ways, Joel had the harder path because he had the turmoil of it all. He had the moving of parts, moving in and out. It was a lot going on in that man's world, and yet somehow he kept putting up 45s and 30s, and so, but not in a runaway, maybe by 4 or 5 votes. I give it to Embiid. But I'm not. If they give it to Jokic, I'm not. How can I be mad at that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cam, Jesse, what you doing?
Are you waiting on me?
I'm waiting on one of y'all. Come on. I don't know why y'all like these dramatic pauses, but
no, the question for me, I think, is the lens at which you look, through to define MVP. We've already talked about the dichotomy between the really most valuable player like a Chris Paul and a player that puts up the stats. And even when you're talking about stats, you look at the best players in the league, and there's not a lot of disparity between an Embiid and a Jokic, right? Which stat means the most to you? Which stat converted into some other efficiency on the court, right? And for me, it's I wonder if you look through it as the highs with Embiid were higher than the Jokic highs, right? And the lows with Embiid were lower than the Jokic lows. And, you look at that curve versus Jokic being like at his averages, like every night, plus or minus 5% every night. That's what he's producing. What's more valuable to your team, right? To guarantee you're going to win 20 out of the 80 games, right? Or give you like a 90% chance to win 40 out of the 80 games. Like that. So I guess it's all about perspective at that point. But in my perspective, I would say Embiid has been maybe the most dominant and impressive, and through what he's lost and had to overcome, right, without Simmons, and then the volatility of losing like a Curry and a Drummond and replacing him with a Harden and trying to figure out how to make it work and still being able to adapt and be successful. I love what he's done this season, and I'm still going to give the award to Jokic. I thought it was Jokic when Curry was going off. I thought it was Jokic when Harden was going off. I thought it was Jokic when Giannis was going off. You know what I mean? I thought it was Jokic all year long, and he's still there. I got to give it to the guy that's there every night.
This is one of those weird times where the definition of most valuable and the stats of most valuable kind of somehow collide together, and it's okay. Like it does kind of matter at this point. So go ahead, Cam. What you doing?
I'm gonna go 100% Greek freak.
Oh wow!
Yeah, 29 points a game, 11 rebounds, 6 assists. Take him off the team. They in trouble. I mean, I understand what they got, the intangibles they got, but Giannis is just an all-around best player in basketball, man. Just, I mean,
I don't disagree with that.
you can take a guy and say, "We're gonna make you shoot." This guy's still gonna put the numbers up, man. Like it's only getting uglier. He only been in the league 6 years. It's only
Well, you know what's
getting
crazy? Giannis is a victim of his own greatness because he actually has gotten better. He's gotten much better, actually, and he won't have a chance to win the MVP, which is weird. But yeah, that's not a bad. It's not a bad. So based on that,
crazier things. I
That's
saw
true.
I saw a year where Anthony Davis absolutely should have been Defensive Player of the Year, and they gave it to Giannis.
you gave it to Giannis.
I saw the year before where LeBron should have been the runaway MVP, and they gave that to Giannis the year before. So
Yeah.
I've seen it where you would think Embiid, this should be Embiid and Jokic, and I think if they look at the body of the work for the team aspect, I think Giannis may be the MVP of the league. That's why I think Peyton Manning could have been the MVP every year. Because if you took Peyton Manning off that team, they may have won 3 games.
Very true. Let's stay with you. First team All NBA. Who you got? Who's your 5? Who you rolling out there?
Hey, Cam, by the way, I think that's why I thought Brady should have been the MVP last year,
I agree.
i.e. Giannis,
I agree.
and or Embiid, and Rodgers won it,
I agree.
which is why I think Jokic is going to win it.
Okay, so let's go to first team All NBA. What we doing, Cam?
First team All NBA.
Are we still doing positions?
Yes. Let's.
Can
For
we
us,
advance past what the NBA does, though? Can we go no positions?
you know what?
Because
Who
that's
is
what
your
the
5?
NBA needs to get to.
I don't disagree with that. So who is your 5? Let's do it that way. Who is your 5?
I would say LeBron, Giannis, Curry, Jokic, and Luka.
Okay.
I can't put Embiid and Jokic in there.
You can't
I
put
have,
both.
I have to take a
Right.
pick. And that's
Well, you
tough.
can. In this scenario, you can because Jesse lobbied for it. But
Let me pick him again. Let me pick him again.
Go ahead.
Let me pick him again. I'll go Luka at 1. I'll go Curry. I'll go Giannis, Embiid, and Jokic. I'll leave Durant off and I'll leave LeBron off
okay.
because of games missed.
Okay.
That's tough.
Jesse?
I'm not ready for this.
I'll go because mine is the same as Cam's.
So we still back to Jesse.
Okay.
Thanks for that long pause, Chad. There you go.
And it took a lot. It took a lot for me not to put Morant in that starting 5.
I listen.
It took a
Same
lot.
here. Same here. But when you see my 5, you'll understand why I didn't put him.
No, I would go.
And that means Luka will win it 4 years in a row, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to keep you out.
I would go Jokic, Embiid, Giannis, Luka, LeBron.
Wow. Okay. I mentioned this earlier.
Cam loves my top 5.
He loves your top. Yeah, he loves it.
He loves it.
I would allow him to say it.
Yeah. I mentioned this earlier because I feel this way.
Chris Paul?
Somebody from the best team has to be on that top.
Golly.
Has to be. So I went with Devin Booker. I went with Luka. I went with Giannis. I went with Joel Embiid, and I rounded out with Jason Tatum. That's my way of telling Udoka, great job.
Nice.
So,
Yeah, see, I disagree with that so hard because, like, the Florida Marlins can win 2 World Series in 5 years, and you don't have one position that's the top player in the league, much less. You know what I mean? Like, there are so many examples of that not being the case.
But I don't think that's the case this time. I think Devin Booker deserves to be on somebody's first team. He has done nothing wrong. It's not his fault that he has the best team and they're 7 games ahead of everybody in the West and 14 games ahead of everybody in the East. That's not his fault. So not his fault that he plays with an all-time top 75 point guard. That ain't his fault. That man has played his behind off. So I think he earned that spot.
And
I
he would
think
never be the player that Steph Curry would be. He would never be the player that Steph Curry is.
We'll see. He's not the shooter. He's definitely not the shooter Steph Curry is. No. But
I can't leave the all-time greatest shooter.
Yeah.
He's on the second team for me. He's on the second team. So we're not talking about he's that far off of the mark. Just
I'm saying you are.
Goodness gracious.
I'm saying you are.
Hey, Booker's not on my second team.
he would be on. Well, Steph would be on my second team for sure.
He'd be on my third team. I have Booker on my third team. At least, maybe second, but for sure third team. There's no way in the world. There's no way I can leave Giannis and Steph Curry off the first team. Period.
We sat here last week and you couldn't name 14 people better than it was Jason Tatum. I was about to say
Devin
that.
Booker?
Yeah, last week we did that. So
We did. And with that being said,
And one of them
Devin Booker deserves to be on that first team line. We're not talking about MVP or we're talking about who's the best in the league. Always listen, just because you made the first team don't mean you're the best in the league. That means you were the best in the league that year.
Okay. Okay. What do you say?
No, I'm talking to Chad. Chad saying we were 14 people deep.
No, I'm
because
just
we got
saying,
Devin Booker. Yeah.
I get it, but
So-
I mean, he's
And
on
what
my
you
second
said,
team.
that's the reason I'm not putting. I mean, it's a team thing. It's all NBA. That's why I didn't put LeBron in there. That's the reason I didn't put him in there. I mean,
Well, I didn't put
stat
LeBron
for
because it
stat.
ain't got to matter.
If you want to go stat for stat, LeBron is there. Like I
Yeah,
don't.
we're talking about stats. Absolutely there. Yeah.
Ooh!
So,
So Hawks took that 8-point halftime lead to 32.
yeah, it's ugly. It's really ugly.
Miles Bridges got ejected
Well,
and hit a fan on his way up.
what do you mean he hit a fan?
He was walking out and he swiped at a fan. So I don't know if it connected or not, but
Oh, well, his season was over anyway.
yeah.
That just means he'll miss the first game or first 2 games of next season.
Yes,
So Atlanta,
Yeah.
Cleveland, who you got?
Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah, Atlanta. Final question of the night, gentlemen. We talked about it last week that guy Tiger Woods. Could he do anything? And he did. He stayed through the weekend, made the cut. He finished in not the best fashion, but he was there. You know, he walked up the 18 and did so to cheers and and screams.
Yeah.
What up?
What up, Ray?
But Scheffler won. Scheffler won in somewhat dominating fashion. But what will you remember from this one? Will you remember that Scheffler won? Or you remember that Tiger pulled it, competed and played reasonably well?
Tiger had nothing to do with anything excitement for me, not personally for me.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it was the charge the last day of Rory. That's what did it for me.
Oh, Rory. Rory frustrates me. Because Rory got all the talent. All of it.
Yeah.
And he's always falling short, man.
Yeah, but he just did something that Tiger did too. That's going to cripple him for a little bit. He just went through a swing change. And whenever you go through a swing change like that,
Yeah.
it takes. If Tiger never did a swing change, he would have ran away with this record a long time ago. If he never did a swing change, but that's just more him challenging himself.
Yeah, overthinking it, and yeah.
Well, and you see Bryson going through that same thing,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, he was
He's
hard.
challenging himself, and he's finding things that are hurting what his game used to be as a result, right? But I'll tell you what, it's interesting Tiger might be the story of the week, right? It's the moment for me. The Masters this year is that Rory sand shot and that
was fantastic.
Morikawa sand save. Back to back on the 18th hole, and then Scotty coming up. It was like there was just this culmination build up for that to happen. That Rory sand shot, we might have to think about comparing it to Tiger's shot.
Absolutely.
Off green in
Facts.
97.
Absolutely. The degree of difficulty on that shot, Jesus.
Yeah, that might be one of the best shots in Masters history. But so that was kind of the weekend for me.
Yeah. I listen. To see Tiger out there, period, was great for me. Was I surprised that he finished the way he did? Not at all. I mean, that's about right. Like you said, the irony of what took place, every prediction that we had of it was exactly what happened. We said he could make all 4 days. He could make the weekend. But we also said he's got to stay in the fairway to keep hitting good shots. He did not. And then Cam said the reps were going to catch up to him, or the lack of reps was going to catch up to him, and they did. So, I mean, we kind of laid out the entire exactly the whole thing would be. It played out exactly how you thought it would play out. So
yeah, it was good for me, just to watch him play all 4 rounds, and that first day he kind of got some comfortability, and then the weather kind of got to him, and sometimes in the rust and everything. But I mean, to see him just complete it, I think that was a W in my book, just to see him go through and walk all 4 rounds. But I mean, he's the reason why I picked up golf club. So I mean, he's always somebody that I'm going to always root for. So I mean, I think it was now him going to play some more tournaments. I think he's going to reevaluate that. But I mean, this was definitely a challenge in itself. So I mean, hopefully he can get back.
Well, did I hear correct that he's already committed to the PGA?
No, the Open.
The Open.
Yeah,
so not the PGA.
Not yet.
That's probably kind of fast. Maybe
Where's the Open?
Is it St. Andrews this year?
And see, that makes sense.
Oh, that makes perfect
Augusta and St. Andrews. And the one that's in Carolina.
Valhalla?
No, not Carolina. Not Carolina. It's in San Diego.
Sawgrass, not Sawgrass.
Pebble Beach.
No, that's
no. The one he's won like 8
Memorial.
No, they have the World Golf Championship out there.
That's in San Diego, but he owns those points.
I know what you're talking about.
Starts with a P.
Yes.
Doesn't it?
You know what? Why are we doing this? We have Google. Why are we making this hard?
We want to make sure our minds are sharp.
This is where the U.S. Open is, right? Is that what you're talking about?
No.
PBC or P something?
No.
Torrey Pines.
Pines. P.
Oh,
Pines. Okay.
What's being played at Torrey?
He rips.
He just signed up. But I'm saying, is there a tournament? Is there a major?
No, I'm just saying if it's a major at Torrey Pines or
he needs to go somewhere that's familiar just to get.
Man,
I agree. 100% agree. Yeah.
Jesse, you play St. Andrews?
No.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what he does the rest of the year.
The golf world better hurry up. I'm putting the whole golf on notice. I'm putting all the golf on notice. Because Tiger Sons is going to probably do some stupid stuff.
Yeah.
He got his daddy everything.
Yeah, he going to give him the ultimate cheat code.
I mean, he got his daddy everything. Like
No, stop. Don't speak that on him, Lloyd.
I'm speaking it.
We talk about on the golf.
Oh, you're right. I hear it. Jesse, I heard it. He's got his daddy's golf game. Golf game. You're right. I heard it. I heard it late, but I heard it. I did hear it. Golf game. You know what? Before I mess
Y'all
up,
gotta relax.
and curse this boy, let's go to the shout out because
Y'all gotta relax. Y'all gotta relax.
No, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Listen, you gotta relax, bro.
We don't want to put the sins of the father on the son. We good.
Man.
Who we shouting out today? Who we shouting out?
Yeah, Cam, take it easy. I didn't say anything about Phil Mickelson.
Who are we shouting out? This is gonna get ugly, and
Wow. First off, I want to start by shouting out those New York Yankees who took 3 games on the Red Sox's opening day.
should know.
Weekend.
Two.
Oh, two. My fault. They played 3.
One of
right.
them got postponed, right?
Gotcha.
Okay,
Yeah.
get that right.
It would have been 3.
Oh,
Also, shouting out Errol Spence fighting this weekend. See if he
Cuzzo.
Yeah, it should be your cuz. See if he gonna get another win on Ugas, and hopefully we get that Terrence Crawford fight, man. Hopefully we get that fight and see what that happens. And also shout out my big bro Ray Barrett, opened up a new business, and shouting out him and much success and all the people that are watching us, man, and you guys too, man. Shouting out y'all.
What's the business? You gonna tell us so we can patronize them, or
The new funeral home and cremation.
Oh no, I'm good on that. I'm proud of you, Raekwon. I'm super proud of you. I just don't want to patronize you faster than I have to.
Yeah.
I think his first client is gonna be the Cowboys
Oh man, come
as
on.
a whole.
Wow.
Take something off, man.
Yeah, that escalated. That escalated quickly. It really did. I'm gonna give mine real quick. I want to give one to the first pick in the WNBA draft, young lady from Kentucky, and our soror, Zeta soror, Miss Renee Howard did her thing. Congratulations to her for getting that first pick. Well deserved, well earned. And then I want to send some love, thoughts, and prayers to the people in New York, man, which is why I wore the Giants hat today. Crazy madness, unnecessary. I'm glad they have the guy in custody now. But man, what a day. What a day. So sending our thoughts and prayers to all the people that were injured and shot and deal with the trauma of that situation. So Cam, Jesse.
My shout out would go to Ray for opening up that new business. They got if it's one person in this world, I think that works harder and more as far as the hours put in. That guy, man, him a neck to neck, and the guy does it, man. He's always looking for something else to do. He can't sit down. So shout out to him for that. Also shout out to LeBron James. It's like he's trying to pick up this Kobe Bryant advocate for women's basketball. And it's good for women's basketball that you got somebody so high profile that's doing that for them. They can move the needle for them.
Absolutely.
He's like, hey, why these girls got to play 4 years? If they good enough to come on out, let them come on out like you're letting these guys come out. So I like that. Definitely a shout out to Mr. John Alexander. Had that personal workout with the Carolina Panthers this week. The boy just looks good. He's talking good. Heads in the right direction. I'm just so proud of him. And also shout out to his brother who had his first baby this week.
Congrats.
And that's like that's a big deal for the family, and so I'm just real proud of him. Shout out to Tiger for making the cut, for giving it all he got. It was very un-Tiger-like because usually Tiger won't do nothing if he has a chance to win. So apparently he went into that thing thinking he can win that tournament.
Yeah.
That's Tiger. He's a Michael Jordan. He's a different animal. Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
It's competitive. They don't even affiliate with other people on the golf course. It's about that business. So shout out to all of them. Pretty good week in sports, I thought.
Agreed.
I just saved it for my girl Bianca Belair. I save it for her later.
She was brilliant. Shout out to Bianca. Yes, sir. And shout out to Patrick Beverly. for winning his first title last night. I just want to give a man credit when he's got it. Go ahead, this guy. Go ahead, Jesse.
He remind me of the Miz when my hand goes up.
I know. What is going on? Yeah.
Oh man.
I don't know that one. I just want to piggyback off what Cam was saying, and I only have one shout out of the night, so I'll be super quick. With LeBron James and his activism towards, women in the workplace and, especially coaches, my shout outs to Becky Hammon, the next coach of the Los Angeles Lakers.
I knew this was going. See, you know what? You are, from now on, raise your hand. From now on, you raise your hand. And wait to be called.
You know what? I got a great idea now that I've been wanting to talk about.
Go ahead.
Before anybody can say something, they got to type it over there in the comments, and we got to see if they can.
And then we got to vet the comment. There you go. Touche. I like it.
Boy, that's where.
I like it.
We're gonna have a bias show.
Yeah, no question.
Because I'll tell you what, y'all start playing those games, I'm gonna jump on that cowboy wagon. We're gonna get Reggie on this show, and 60% of every vote will be to talk about the Cowboys.
Well, we apologize in advance, Jesse. We're
Right.
Yeah.
Can I, since you want to talk about WrestleMania, can I say something real quick? Shout out to Brock Lesnar.
I didn't say anything about who are you talking about?
My man right here, my guy right here, Cam said it. But can I give a shout out to Brock Lesnar, who absolutely sold that main event? I mean, Roman did his thing, but Brock Lesnar really sold that main event.
Absolutely.
That might be the best Brock Lesnar I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
Like, it was really entertaining.
Lloyd, I couldn't agree with you more. You know, the one thing that I think would have made it better is just a slight little if Becky Hammon
had been his manager.
I mean, if she was in the building, right? If they'd invited her to sit in the suite.
Man, what is wrong with you, man?
I know what that means. That means it's time for us to go. Thank you to the Noisemakers. Thank you to the 5 pounds.
Progressive. BE Progressive.
Listen, we love y'all. Y'all have a great day.
Get you 10 when you're plugging in with the there's no mystery. Let's make history with the oh, the song 2 and 3. Add 1 more plus me and do the